Hello and welcome to Approaching Technology with M3 Technology Group. I'm here today with Mark of SVSi. Mark, how's it going?
Doing well.
Good, man. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
appreciate you having me.
Dude, absolutely. Thanks for coming in. What do you do for SVSi?
I'm the Director of Sales Engineering, so I help integrator and consultant partners craft networked AV solutions.
Integrators, much like M3 Technology Group.
Absolutely.
That's what we do. So, a huge buzzing trend in AV right now is this idea of AV IT convergence, right? You've heard it.
Absolutely.
So what's the deal with that? For people that maybe are just hearing about this, what is the idea behind that?
Well, the idea is that in the future, AV signals will live on the network. Mm-hmm. AV control will live on the network. And the reality is that we're actually already there. I'm sure you're seeing it with your clients. Mm-hmm. More and more IT management is being brought to the table in AV discussions, and really the idea of convergence is just how does the AV world and the IT world harmoniously coexist.
Right. And I can tell you, as an integrator, we used to be at the table with the facilities guys,
yep.
or some other guy. Now it's with the IT folks.
Absolutely.
And they're talking, speaking the IT language, which we're as AV integrators just kind of getting hip to in a lot of cases. Mm-hmm. Have you guys found it difficult to approach these IT folks or to kind of get in with them?
Actually the opposite's true. We found IT management to be very accepting of our technology because they understand it.
Right.
We're Ethernet packets. Even though it's audio and video signals and control signals on the network, it's just data.
Right.
So IT people are not afraid of data. They're not afraid of bandwidth. The concern is how do we manage that, and how do we ensure that it doesn't have an adverse effect on the network and the other devices on the network.
Right.
So really what we've always preached is let's get them at the table up front. Let's put the expectations out on the table and craft a solution to effectively manage that bandwidth, and then everyone's happy.
Right, because you know what IT managers hate is rogue devices, right? You just go throwing something on their network, don't give them a heads up.
Well, and that's when you get the not on my network response.
Right.
If you make them a partner in the conversation up front, they actually like utilizing that network because they're getting extra mileage out of the investment they've already made.
Right. And I would think from an IT standpoint, it's one more kind of feather in their cap. Like, look what we can provide as your IT folks to the C-level employees.
Absolutely.
Cool. So I know, coming from my background, we do a lot of 16 by 16 chassis, 8 by 8 chassis, and so what you guys do and have been doing for a while is just a completely modular, more flexible approach to AV routing. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, absolutely. We've taken the AV matrix, the concept of the AV matrix, and completely decentralized it. So whereas with the traditional AV matrix switcher, you have inputs and outputs, we have encoders and decoders. And we look at the Ethernet network as the matrix. So we can put a source of video, an encoder by a source of video wherever it's needed, a decoder by a display for output, and be able to leverage that Ethernet network to perform the routing and switching of those signals.
Right. Very cool, man. So is there any concern on you all's part that this internet thing is going to go the way of 5-wire? Because we pulled a lot of 5-wire, and now we got nothing to do with it.
Understood. Yeah. No one's seriously talking about downgrading their network.
Right.
We've seen the evolution. We started shipping Pro AV network-based products in 2007 when gigabit connectivity was the standard between closets. Now 10 gig or multiple 10 gig links are the standard between closets on an enterprise IT network, and all the research we've seen is showing that 2014 is trending to be the breakout year for 40 gig and 100 gig Ethernet connections.
Right.
So I know there's a lot of concern with bandwidth and managing bandwidth, but the reality is enterprise networks are growing exponentially every single year.
Right. Cool. So this AV IT convergence that we all hear so much about, we read about, not just something way off in the future, like it's here.
We've been living in this world since 2007.
Right.
Every product we manufacture is IP centric. It's Ethernet at its core, and every product we develop going forward is going to be IP centric as well.
So that's the deal. Where IT meets AV right here. SVSi, M3 Technology Group. Thank you for joining us on Approaching Technology. Thanks for joining us, Mark.
Thanks a bunch, Phil. Appreciate it, man.